I'm getting ready to go to bed, but thought I would record a quick video and just talk to you real quick about one of the things that truck drivers deal with every day, every week, no matter what time of the year it is, and that is getting enough sleep. Not just sleep, but good sleep, good rest, so that we're able to keep going safely without getting sick. And that ends up being quite a challenge sometimes. I mean, it's not like you can just crawl in the sleep or go to sleep and everything's great, because it's I mean, quite often you'll end up with fumes in the truck that are blowing in from other trucks that are running outside of yours, or maybe your own truck is running and you're getting exhaust fumes or whatever. We've got diet issues to deal with because we don't always eat at the same time of day, and sometimes we eat right before we go to bed because that's the only dang time we've had to eat. Other issues you have are noise and weather. Um, you know, it's, truck stops are noisy places. Rest areas end up being noisy. There's trucks coming and going, all kinds of noises. You've got your air brakes and stuff, and then obviously the beds in a truck, they're not that comfortable. Um, it's it's noisy, it's uncomfortable, and then, well, part of the noise too is, I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but when the truck is idling, there's stuff vibrating inside. So, I mean, you've got vibrations from the panels and stuff inside the vehicle, as well as the noise of the truck. And if you can get used to the noise of your own truck, that's great. It'll help you sleep a whole lot better because, well, it just kind of is a droning noise. But uh, then sometimes you get an air system leak or something like that, and every few minutes your blow off valve, because on a truck the air system is charged by a compressor um, down by the motor. And what happens is, if it falls below a certain level, then the compressor kicks in. It changes the noise of the engine, and then you can hear the compressor running and stuff. And then also, um, I got a Scrabble notification. I'll have to take care of that before I go to bed. Anyway, so once it builds up air pressure in the tanks that are underneath the truck, you hear a blow off, and it's like a loud psh sound. So that'll happen every few minutes. If you've got a leak, hopefully you won't have a leak. I've parked next to other trucks that seem to have a continual leak, and I timed this one truck, and every 2 minutes and 30 some seconds, his blow off would go, make that loud noise right next to my sleeper. So I wasn't able to sleep well that night. Obviously, the next night I wasn't next to that guy. If you're pulling a reefer trailer, or you're next to somebody, parked next to somebody that's pulling a reefer trailer, the reefer's going to turn on every few minutes, and it's a loud diesel engine, and obviously that's going on and off all night long, so that's hard too. Um, the last truck I was in, the mattress sucked. It was so bad that I actually ended up going and buying a new mattress to put in the truck. And in this truck, it's not it's not too bad. I've got one of the it's like a studio sleeper kind of thing. I've currently got it set up so that there's two benches, one behind the camera here and one that I'm sitting on, with a table in front of me, and then I sleep in the bunk up top. So what I've got is, I originally bought one of those, what do you call it, 3-inch memory foam mattress toppers, twin size mattress toppers. That thing was so hard. If you whack somebody in the face with it, you'd knock them out. I swear it was horrible. Um, I ended up having all kinds of pain from that in my lower back. So eventually, not well, it actually wasn't long ago, I ended up getting another one. It's half foam and half memory foam. It's 4 inches thick, so I put that on top. That actually is much more comfortable. A lot of guys out here come into this job with back problems. Um, females too, I'm sure. I'm not just trying to say guys, but a lot of drivers have had back problems previous to this occupation, and then some of us develop back problems in this occupation. Um, I've had some sore back issues previous to working in this job, and then right before I went out on the road, the 2 years prior to that, I had 4 surgeries. Two on my shoulder, and it makes it hard to roll over and sleep on that shoulder too. So even when I go home, it's hard to sleep sometimes. I mentioned some of the dietary issues as far as when we eat and all that sort of thing, but also consider the fact that um, we're not, we're not like wide awake all day. We're supposed to be. We have to be to stay on the road and stay safe. But I mean, we're drinking coffee all day or Mountain Dew or something, usually, with caffeine in it to help us stay alert and keep going. I mean, if you're behind the wheel of an 80,000 pound vehicle for 11 hours through your day, sometimes getting out and taking a break here and there and that sort of thing, it wears on you. You get fatigued in a hurry, and so people go, "Oh well, you only work 11 hours a day, and all you do is sit there." Well, yeah, it's hard to stay awake and stay alert and focus on what you're doing without kind of zoning out on the road for that length of time. I mean, I've had days where I've put on 735, 740 miles. That's not the typical day. Usually it's between 5 and 650 miles, that sort of thing, that I drive in a day. A poor day, of course, is closer to 300 or 350 miles. That's a bad day. You don't make a whole lot of money if you're being paid by the mile that way. But anyway, long story short, we're drinking stuff all day. Usually sodas, pop, or I mean sodas or coffee or iced tea or something like that. I drink a lot of juices too. Cranberry and orange juice I particularly like, but um, so we've got a lot of caffeine in our system quite often that then all of a sudden we're supposed to park and just magically go to sleep, and it doesn't usually work that way. So obviously, if you're driving, try to taper down toward the end of the day on your caffeine several hours before you think you're going to be going to sleep and that sort of stuff. If you're driving at night, quite often that becomes a challenge because you're driving all night, pumping in the coffee, trying to stay awake, and then all of a sudden, you pull over. You're supposed to try and get some sleep in this window that the federal government has designated for you to get your adequate rest and all that sort of thing. But honestly, I've laid there for 5 hours out of the night trying to go to sleep and can't sleep. It's just any number of these factors that are keeping me awake. So that can end up being a problem. One of the other things too is stress. Obviously, if you're stressed about your job, stressed about the weather, stressed about finances, or your relationship with somebody back home, home stress is a big factor. I've talked with a lot of other guys. I'm definitely not alone in the sense that when there is home stress, it is very, very difficult to get any kind of adequate rest out here. Um, it ends up being a problem. So I'll talk more about most of these things later on at some point. But when it comes to how to get good rest, good sleep when you're out here, when your schedule is changing, sometimes you're up all night driving, sometimes you're up all day driving. It's always changing. You never know really what the next trip or the next leg of your trip is going to bring. So um, basically, try to cut back on the caffeine as early as you can and stay safe, that sort of thing. Try not to drink too awful much right before you go to bed. Try not to eat too much right before you go to bed. Try not to stress too much while you're out on the road about any number of a bazillion things you could be stressing about. Um, and try to stay clean. Try to take care of yourself. I know a lot of guys, end up going several days in between being able to actually take a complete, clean, warm, hot, wet shower in a shower somewhere. And when whenever that happens, obviously, you smell, you don't feel good. Your skin can be itchy, that sort of stuff. You'll be sweaty. Your bedding gets dirty. So try to take care of all those things. Try to stay on top of it. that'll help you about as much as it can help you. And obviously, I suppose you could try wearing earplugs or something, but I'll be honest, wearing earplugs freaks me out at night. If somebody's banging on my door or something's going on outside the truck, I would rather hear it than not hear it. And I think that if I were to wear earplugs, I know I snore like a son of a gun. So, especially when I'm really tired, if I wear earplugs, it's going to keep me up at night. Trust me. I mean, I'll wake myself up. I don't know really what else to say. I've taken a Benadryl right, a half hour before I go to sleep. That helps me go to sleep, but it's a pain in the ass trying to get up and perform the next morning and be alert and snap to, say at 4 a.m. or whatever, and go, oh, I'm going to do my pre-trip and my paperwork all accurate, and jump back out on the highway. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't take prescription medication. Don't take, Sominex or something like that that's going to try and help you sleep, because it's going to end up biting you in the backside. So I wouldn't recommend any of that kind of stuff. I mean, if you drink tea, some chamomile tea or something like that, I mean, give it a shot, I guess. But in a nutshell, getting good sleep while you're on the road is not easy for most of us out here, and I don't know that there's really a hell of a lot you can do about it. I mean, I didn't used to have these huge big bags under my eyes. There's a lot of wrinkles and gray hair I have that I didn't have, several years ago. So I mean, some of that's age, I understand, but a lot of it's the stress and not being able to get the sleep that I want, or need, get the sleep that my body needs. So it's a battle, it really is. It's one of the challenges we deal with all the time out here. You go home and you sleep in your own bed, and oh, it's so nice. Sometimes guys will have a hard time sleeping when they get home. Then they adjust to that, go back out on the road, and right back in the same boat again. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that there's not a lot of great ideas for. If you have some ideas about getting some better rest while we're on the road, that's not going to end up being illegal or dangerous or something like that, share them with me in the comments or on the website. truckerssurvivalguide.com is the website. I would love you to stop by, share your ideas, your comments, your stories, your frustrations, complaints, bitches, epiphanies, whatever you might have. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. It's Cole from truckerssurvivalguide.com.